Hello, Leo. Welcome to my channel. It is an absolute pleasure and such a blessing to be here with you. So thank you for being here with me for your October 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies, including my social media, information on personal readings, and donations if you would like to explore those. There's also going to be a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. October happens to be a universal 8 month, and this 8 energy is one of renewal, a reminder that all things in life are connected to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. We're asked to focus on universal connectedness and collective humanity. It brings forth as well self-empowerment that pull us toward expansion, growth, and divine compassion. So for this month's Tarotscope, we are going to be looking at the overall energy. What is coming to an end for you? What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning? And getting the wisdom that will best support your healing, growth, and evolution. Before we dive in, I do want to share with you that as I was preparing for your reading, I did see the number 222. And this is a number of alignment and being in the right place at the right time or on the right path. And I feel as though there's something here for you, Leo, about that, because I feel that perhaps in the past, or maybe even throughout this month, at certain points, you may have found it difficult to trust yourself, to trust the path that you're on, and to trust that you're making the right decisions. But I feel as though coming into October, and as we move throughout the month, I feel you may be trusting yourself more. I just saw 222 on the timer, which is interesting because I just happened to look up. So certainly some confirmation there for you. I feel as though, again, like I was saying, as you move through this month, you may find it easier to trust yourself. You may find your faith in yourself growing. And I do feel like your intuition is likely to be speaking to you very loudly. Actually, thinking about it now with the number 2 and getting those high priestess from the tarot vibes, right? That inner voice, that divine truth, that wisdom that you carry within you. I feel as though this is something that may be taking center stage this month. And I feel as though you may be finding, again, that you are trusting that more and more and more, and are just continuing to align and align and align. So again, take that if it resonates with you. You may be seeing 222 this month, which, I mean, just like a further confirmation, certainly. But let's dive into the cards and see what is coming through. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of October 2023 for Leo, please. What is the overall energy within the Leo collective? Thank you. All right. What is coming to an end for Leo this October? What is coming? Okay, thank you. What is being rebirthed, renewed? Ooh, I love that. Okay, tell us please, what wisdom will best support healing, growth, and evolution for Leo? Thank you. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of October 2023 for Leo. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what is coming to an end for Leo this October. us more, please. What is coming to an end for Leo this October 2023? Thank you. How would we like to... Okay, yes. Tell us more, please. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Leo this October? Okay, interesting. Tell us more, please. What wisdom will best support Leo's healing, growth, and evolution? Thank you. We do have several decks we are working with this month, so I do appreciate your patience. Do feel free to skip ahead to the start timestamp if you would like to do so. All right, tell us more. What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of October 2023 for Leo? Thank you. Tell us more, please. What is coming to an end for Leo this October? Thank you. Tell us more, please. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Leo? All right. Tell us more, please. What wisdom will best support Leo's healing, growth, and evolution moving forward? Okay, thank you. Anything we may have missed or need to know about the overall energy of October 2023 for Leo? Anything we may have missed or need to know, please, for Leo? Thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed in regards to what is coming to an end? All right. Wow. Okay. Yep. Anything we need to know or may have missed in regards to what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Leo? What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Leo? Anything we may have missed, please. I just heard the word truth, and I do feel, thank you, I do feel like that truth has something to do with your own personal or inner truth. I don't necessarily feel as though that you are or have been deceived in some kind of way. It doesn't feel like there's like truth coming to light on an external for like an external stage, if you will. It feels more as though there are truths that are coming that you are recognizing within yourself. And I do feel like this has something to do about your own power. I just want to make that very clear. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, certainly, because we discussed that 222 in the beginning of the video, but it really does feel like there are truths here that I feel you're recognizing about yourself. And I feel like they could have some significant changes for you if you, let's say, continue to align with those. Anything we may have missed or need to know, please. What or in regards to the wisdom that will best support healing, growth, and evolution for Leo. Anything we need to know or may have missed. What wisdom will best support Leo's healing? Okay, thank you. Yep. All right. Let's dive in, Leo. Okay, so your overall energy, you have a mirror. Who or what is triggering you? And I do feel as though with this energy, interestingly enough, I feel as though throughout October, and I'm not saying it's going to be like this consistent barrage of triggering, okay? That's not to say that you may not experience triggering at various points. I mean, we are in a very transformative energy currently. There's a lot of planets that have been in retrograde. Pluto is coming out of retrograde. Venus is leaving its shadow. We have 2 eclipses, right? So certainly there's a lot of energy of transformation, and with that comes, things coming to the surface. Okay, so it kind of goes without saying. However, I do feel like um you how do I say this? Okay, so you may be experiencing triggers, but and maybe you don't notice them like immediately. Okay? Maybe you get triggered and maybe you react and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh crap." Like I feel like it's it's like a quick like noticing it is quick. So even if you don't like catch yourself being triggered, let's say, I feel like soon after you react, you're like, "Oh wow, I was actually just really triggered right here." And I feel like you almost um may seek to like immediately remedy that, right? Um, so it's really interesting because I just feel like there's been growth around your triggering. And I do feel like that energy is coming to the forefront this month. I mean, not only because in order for us to grow, we kind of have to experience these, catalyst moments. However, I do feel like it's not just about you growing. I feel like it's also about you seeing where you have grown, right? um eh, because I'm seeing it almost as like a, again, maybe you experience something, you react, and then you're like, oh crap, that was triggering to me, and then you try to remedy it very quickly because you recognize it very quickly. And I feel like before, maybe you wouldn't have seen it so quickly, or maybe or if at all. Okay. But I do feel like this month there's an evolution there and what is triggering you and how you handle those things, how you navigate them. I do feel for some of you there, these triggers, um, I feel as though how do I say this? Because here's the thing, like, I feel like I mean, this goes without saying in a sense because it's the trigger that's within you, of course, but I feel like whatever takes place externally, if there is indeed something that, sparks this, um, which is likely, it feels like that trigger isn't something that is evident, like right away. But so it's really fascinating, okay? Because I feel like in some cases that you may be triggered by something and somebody's just kind of like, wait a minute, what? Like it catches them off guard. Your reaction catches them off guard. Or maybe they don't even, maybe it's not even that they, that you react in a way that is, let's say, bad or negative necessarily. Like they may not even see it that way. Um, right? Because it's almost as like, I don't know how to explain it. It's a very interesting energy trying to translate this, but it feels like then all of a sudden it like clicks for you and you're like, oh crap, I was just triggered right there. And then you want to remedy that trigger. And the other person or other party may not even see it in that way, but I feel like you recognize it. So it's this, again, it's this big growth, okay? I hope that makes sense. We do have the star here in the reverse, which I feel for, okay, so we have the overall energy, right? Star being in reverse can be this energy, certainly, of like feeling discouraged or insecure. And if we're being triggered and we catch ourselves, sometimes we can be a little bit hard on ourselves for that. Um, how do I say this? Because it makes us, I mean, healing is fucking hard. I am, I mean, excuse my language, but healing is really, really hard. It really is. It's exhausting. At points, it's messy. It's, very uncomfortable, painful. And, I feel like there's this almost this discouragement where you may find yourself being triggered and then you may be like, oh, I can't believe, like, I can't believe I did that. It feels a little bit critical. It feels like, I've been working so hard to heal, or I've been, how do I say, trying to rebuild and heal and to, move past, or to leave my past behind. Um, and so I feel like it could, in some cases, kind of weigh heavily on you, your response to these triggers, right? But I feel like there's something here that I feel like you need to remember, okay? And that is that some of what I feel is coming through for you is to show you how you've grown, is to show you that wisdom that you hold within, right? Because it does feel to me like there's such a quick turnaround that, it's showing you like, oh, look how quickly yes, you may have reacted in a way that maybe you aren't incredibly proud of. And that's not to say that you even hurt anybody else, or, anything like that. It's just maybe you just aren't proud of the way you reacted. But you see it very quickly, and you turn that around very quickly. And so I feel like something there is showing you, um and I feel like it's not meant to discourage you. I feel like it's not meant to create any insecurity or to make you feel, hopeless, or any of those sorts of things. I mean, certainly in some cases it can show us where we're clinging to the past. Okay. And again, it's very little. I don't want to say it's little triggers. That's not what I mean. The little turnaround time, though, I feel is, it's like you are clinging to that. Then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm being triggered by that. And you have that opportunity to turn that around very quickly. Okay? Because of the wisdom that you hold within. I hope that makes sense. It's like you've grown so much and you've healed so many things that this showing up for you is just saying, hey, this is something you've been holding on to that has had to come to the surface. So it does. And then again, maybe not everybody resonates with this, but then there's that quick turnaround and it's like, oh, that's what that was. Okay. Right? You also have here, wow, the Empress in reverse as well. This is fascinating. So I do feel that, I mean, that's some pretty big blocked energies there, Leo. But here's the thing. I feel like that these triggers are coming up for you to show you where you're holding on to the past and where it's preventing you from creating or fostering the happiness that you truly deserve, that you truly desire. Right? It feels as though, how do I say this? For some of you, I feel, okay. Oh, for some of you, I feel like there's this underlying mothering type of energy, if you will, where maybe you try to save people, where you try to like mother people, or like save people by mothering. Okay. You may insert yourself into people's lives and, try to save them or mother them, maybe. And this could look a multitude of different ways. But you think of like the hovering mother type of energy, and I'm not saying that you are bad or wrong in the sense that it's not coming from a good place. Okay. But I feel as though there's an energy here of, maybe trying to swoop in and to save people. But I feel like there's something here about recognizing where you may be doing that. And I do feel like this is not for everyone. I don't know if I said that yet, but I want to make that clear. I feel like if you resonate with this, there's something here that needs to be understood. And it is that you swooping in to save the day and to mother people is enabling them to continue the same patterns. Okay. And you kind of get trapped in their web in a sense. Okay, you like take on their stuff, and that is not beneficial for either party. Okay. For some of you, there could be a sense of almost selfishness in that regard, because you may feel some kind of insecurity or some kind of disappointment or discouragement, if you will, in yourself, because it's like, how do I say this? It feels selfish in the sense that you like want to save other people. Um, how do I put this? It's like because you want them to. Uh, I'm trying to be very delicate about this. Um, but you may want to save people for how it could potentially benefit you. Okay. And what I mean by that is, maybe some of these individuals that you have experienced around you have more toxic traits. And so you want to save them so you can keep them in keep them in your life, but not have to deal with that toxicity. And the thing of it is they have to choose that for themselves. I hope that makes sense. I also feel like with this Empress energy in the reverse like this, I feel like there are some triggers that you're holding on to, or some wounding, some traumas that you may be holding on to, that are creating this discouraged, insecure energy within you, and is in some sense, like I was saying, preventing you from the creating the life you desire and the life you deserve, from fostering happiness, or it could potentially be just limiting your creativity overall, right? I also feel like for some of you, there you could have, I don't know why or who this is for, but some could have this kind of lack mentality. There's fear coming up here. That may be a trigger for you. There could be this lack mentality, however, or this faithlessness, and in like the ability to foster abundance or create abundance. And that can be, I feel like, in any area, truly. But I feel like these are things that are coming to the surface for you to address, um, or maybe you resonate with some of the things I've shared and not the others, which is perfectly okay. I just feel like this could be showing up differently, of course, for everyone. This is a collective reading, but it feels as though more than anything else, there's this sense of insecurity or discouragement and being able to create or foster happiness, or to create or foster the life you deserve. And I feel like a big part of that, Leo, is it just feels like you're just tired, right? I just feel as though, Leo does represent that inner strength. Um, and I feel like there's this, like, I'm just tired, right? I have been going and going and going and trying to do all the things, and trying to keep my faith strong, standing in my convictions. I've tried to be very loyal to my beliefs, and I've tried to stay positive, and all the things, and I just feel like you're just tired. Okay, so I feel, don't let that get the best of you this month. You do have, interesting enough, wait till you hear this, star gathering, stars aligned, remembering home and soul family. I feel like, again, what's interesting is that stars aligned energy, because with the 222 in alignment, I feel, and stars, of course, coming out for a second time, I feel as though there's a big message here for you to trust where you are. Okay, just because things may not be manifesting, or you may not be experiencing things the way that you expected you would, that does not mean that you are out of alignment, in the sense that it doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It does not mean that things aren't unfolding or transpiring in the way that they need to best serve you. Okay, so often, especially in New Age, there's this idea that, if you're in alignment, things are just, everything is hunky-dory, and butterflies and rainbows. And the thing of it is, you cannot grow or evolve without experiencing certain challenges, certain obstacles, certain even pain or struggle, or things like this. Like, you can't, that's not how this works. And so, I feel like, even if it appears to be that, a challenge, a struggle, uncomfortable, painful, whatever it is, exhausting, it doesn't mean that you're not on the right path. It means that this is what is needed for you currently in order for you to go to move to the next level. Okay? I do feel like there are things in alignment. It's fascinating AF to me that we have the star and star gathering, or stars aligned. And interestingly enough, with this remembering home energy here, I do feel like this is about you remembering your home. And what I mean by home is like home within yourself. Okay. I feel like you are learning to recognize, it's almost like having family within. Okay. A lot of people put home outside of self, right? Home is where your partner is. Home is where your family is. And that's not to say that it's not relevant, because we are incredibly social creatures. However, I think sometimes we kind of forget, or we get so caught up in, the mundane parts of life, that we fail to see that home is within us. Okay, because every single thing that we have some kind of connection to or attachment to in these physical bodies on this earthly plane fades when we leave this plane, when we leave these bodies. And so, home is within you. Home is your, the multifaceted you that you house within this physical body, right? It's your soul. That's your home. And I feel like there's something here about starting to see that very clearly within yourself, really connecting to that truth within yourself, recognizing that home within yourself. And how do I say this? That's not to say that you may not be experiencing soul family, where maybe new people are coming in this month. Certainly, Venus coming out of its shadow phase and really bringing forward these new perspectives on love, or how our beliefs around love. And that doesn't have to be romantic, by the way. It's certainly plausible that you would experience new relationships of some kind, or redefining certain relationships, let's say. But what's sticking out to me the most is that stars aligned and remembering home. But it feels as though for some, you may be feeling like you found family within. And what I mean by that is, you may have found that you've strengthened that confidence that you have within yourself, and your intuition, and your ability to intuit certain things, or maybe even with God, that you have developed what feels like a family within. And perhaps that's brought you some comfort, because maybe you aren't incredibly connected with your physical world family. You may be on the outs with a mother figure, or your mother. You have integrity here. You demonstrate the truth and honesty of your soul, and manifest the love with your every action. I mean, here's the thing, right? Again, it really feels to me like you may be experiencing these triggers and things coming through, and then, like I said, having this quick turnaround where you're like, oh crap, like I was triggered, and you go and you try to remedy that, because I feel like that is that integrity that you hold, Leo. That is that honesty of your soul, because I feel like you're connecting to that on such a deep level and have such reverence for that soul or spirit aspect of yourself, the more, let's say, divine or Christ consciousness, Christ impulse within you, that you're choosing to demonstrate that fully. Okay. Which is why I feel like you could find yourself, if this rings true for you, you could find yourself being discouraged. Which, I mean, here's the thing, that is part of aligning with Christ consciousness. I just want to be honest with you, because it's those morals. Okay. But it's about how you move forward from them. It's recognizing, okay, that's what happened. I need to remedy this, remedying it and moving forward, not, guilt, holding on to guilt and all these sorts of things. I also feel here that this integrity or demonstrating truth and honesty of our soul is certainly about that alignment. It's coming up again. I just feel like there's this keep coming back to, I'm trusting my intuition, following my intuition, trusting my soul, trusting what I feel within me, trusting what feels true to me. And I keep doing that again and again and again, which I feel is continuing to perpetuate this alignment, right? It may not feel or see, or you may not see this very like physical world transformation, let's say, but I feel like on like a soul level, on on or in regards to the evolution or growth of your soul, like this is huge. And as we continue to move forward, I feel like you will see the manifestations of that in your physical world more and more. Okay. We also have here for you funny creativity. You love to devise new ideas, innovations, and forms of illumination. So isn't that fascinating? Because we have this Empress here, which is a representation of creativity in the reverse. And now we have this overall energy of creativity coming in. I feel like it feels to me like there could be for some of you this message here, looking at the overall energy of trying to bring you back to more creative spaces, let's say, inspired places. Okay, because the star in the reverse, or rather the star, can be like, this inspirational type of energy. When I think of inspired, I think of being in spirit, and I think of faith. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's just one big, I don't know how you would say it, connected thread, let's say, or something. But it feels like, there's this inspiration here, and then this, or lack of pretense, right? And creativity with the Empress. So I feel as though it feels like this nudge to get back to what inspires you, what really encourages you to delve into your creativity, to give that time to yourself, to give that to yourself, give yourself the opportunity to explore that, to play in it, to have a bit of fun in it. Okay, because it feels a lot like there's been this just like constant work that's been taking place for you. So I feel, again, the overall energy is very much about getting back to that side of yourself, that inspired creative side of yourself. And all the while to pay attention to who or what is triggering you, because here's the thing, I do feel like there are probably some programmings or woundings or things. Like I said, it's likely that you'll be triggered this month. I wouldn't be surprised, rather. But some of these triggers could potentially be around certain programmings and woundings that are less, how do I say this, are less focused on, let's say, inspiration and creativity and abundance and manifestation and faith and things like this, but are more focused on the physical world, physical aspects of things. So that could be triggering to you, right? I did say that there was this energy of maybe there's this lack mentality or something around lack that you may be dealing with. And I find it fascinating because I feel as though, Leo, I feel like you are trying to demonstrate the truth of your soul and the honesty of your soul. And I feel like there are probably not going to be a lot of people who understand that, because I feel like you are looking at things from a very different perspective than, let's say, somebody who is very heavily focused on the physical world or what society says. You know, you should be working this much, you should have this much money, you should drive this car, you should live in this kind of house, you should have these kind of clothes, you should be able to afford XYZ, blah blah blah. And I think it's a very challenging position for you to be in, Leo, as a leader, as somebody who may be very charismatic, who may be very, let's say, bold, and often tend to be somebody who's very creative, but more so a leader and is able to overcome obstacles. You know, I feel that it may be a very difficult position for you to be in, because I feel like you want and desire um to be in positions, let's say, where you can be proud of yourself in every aspect, right? But I feel like there, again, I feel like there could be certain wounds or programming or maybe people in your experience where there's more of this focus on the physical aspect, or, you know, physical facet of your existence, where it's, you know, things like creativity and inspiration and manifestation and healing, inward healing, and being in alignment with what makes you happy and brings you joy isn't important, or isn't valuable, or um isn't, what is the word, productive. Okay. Wow, I've spent an incredible amount of time on this overall energy for you, but I mean, it really, I feel like, you know, it could feel very confusing if, you know, someone didn't understand how this might manifest, because I feel a big part of this is truly not being discouraged or being insecure about the way you align with your truth and the honesty of your soul, right? How you create happiness. I feel like there's something pure about not being ashamed of that or feeling afraid of it, or something along those lines. Like, it really feels like this is it has a far more weight and value and importance than what you may realize, and certainly what many people within society realize. Okay, a lot of people don't even believe we have a soul, and that is incredibly damaging in itself, spiritually, right? So let's take a look at what is coming to an end here. I mean, we have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like you've been exhausted, Leo. I feel like you probably haven't felt like you've gotten the sleep you need in quite some time. It feels like if you could, right? If you could, I feel like there are some of you who would sleep for like a week, a month, because I feel like it's just been this constant effort towards figuring yourself out and growing and healing and releasing and dealing and, you know, just navigating and observing and changing perspectives and um bringing new knowledge in, you know, focusing your awareness. Like, I just feel like there's been a lot happening. So I feel like for some of you, this feeling of exhaustion, or feeling like you could sleep for, like a decade. I feel like this is coming to an end. I feel like this inability, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This inability to rest, I feel like is coming to an end. This inability to feel replenished, I feel is coming to an end. You, again, Three of Wands here, looking to the future. I'm getting some fear here. And I find it interesting because both of the beings on these cards, the women on these cards, are both looking to the right, which is, for me, is very much speaking to looking to the future, which is fascinating because both the Star, the Mirror card as well, and the Empress are all, from my perspective, looking to the left or the past. Okay, their heads are all facing that direction. So I do feel that okay, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I feel like the fear of the future for some of you is what's coming to an end. It feels like, yes, thank you. Okay. So for some of you, I feel like this has been a period of rapid growth, which is why I feel like you've been so exhausted. I feel like it's been rapid fire, like this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. And I'm not saying that this has been something that maybe you have been consciously aware of everything, but I do feel that you may have felt like you've been on the, okay, so a way that I've explained this previously is like if you were to, you're signing up to come and be a soul on the planet, and they're like, okay, choose your challenge or choose your level of difficulty, and you just hit all the buttons, right? You picked the expert level or master level or whatever it is, like the hardest level of difficulty that you possibly could choose. You were like, yep, that's the one I want. I got this. That's what it feels like. Thank you, thank you, thank you for clarifying that. Because I feel like this is what's coming to an end. This feeling like you can't rest, like you cannot, no matter how much sleep you try to get, no matter how much you try to give back to yourself, it just feels like you cannot be replenished. And I feel like if you resonate with this, it is because you have been on, your growth has been set on rapid fire. And you have just been going through it. And I feel like for some of you, this is coming to an end. Okay? For others of you, I do feel like there's this, how do I say, there could be this fear of the future that is coming to an end, where it feels like you can just, moving forward, you may be able to just relax a little bit. Because I feel like there's kind of like this uptight kind of energy, which for some of you, maybe not uptight, but anxious, nervousness, this fear, this, type of energy where it's like, oh, worried about the future and maybe not being able to rest because of that. We do have the Ten of Pentacles here as well. Here's the thing. It feels to me I find this really fascinating because you do have this soul family card here with stars, with Star Gathering, and now the Ten of Pentacles, which of course is this, more fulfilled kind of happy home, happy life, happy. You know what I'm saying? It can be very family oriented energy. For some of you, I feel like you're coming out of survival mode. I'm just gonna be honest. I feel like this is what's coming to an end because for some of you, I feel like you have constantly been like it feels like having your head on a swivel. It feels like always looking to the next step, like being 10 steps ahead, or or several steps ahead, always looking to the future, always looking for what's coming next. how things are going to unfold, right? And I feel like you may be coming out of survival mode. This, I don't know, that's a very intuitive energy that I'm picking up on, but or a very intuitive message that I'm delivering, but it all of a sudden it just clicked in. It's like there could be this feeling of survival mode that's coming to an end. Here we have the 3 of Wands, right? And she's standing here by herself on this cliff's edge looking out at the ocean. There's this very kind of doing it on my own type of vibe. And the 10 of Pentacles is not that, right? The 10 of Pentacles, there's, it's full of people, even a dog, right? So I just feel like for some of you, that energy of survival mode is coming to an end where you feel like things are more stable moving forward. This is quite fascinating energy to be picking up on for what's coming to an end. I'm not going to lie to you. I love these challenges as a reader, but I on the other side of this, I really feel like for some, what's coming to an end is this rapid fire ascension, healing, growth, evolution, whatever you want to call it, development. I feel like that's coming to an end. Okay, that feeling like you can't rest, you can't sleep, because I feel like it's like everything, how do I say it? It's like you've built up this legacy. I hope that, oh gosh, I hope that makes sense. I just want to read the keywords from the guidebook here on the 10 of Pentacles. Just, I feel like there could be a specific word or words in here that are going to... So we do have here spiritual and material abundance, a community, generosity, wealth and prosperity, and building a legacy. There's a reason why I opened this. What is this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I just had something click. I feel like, again, for some of you, I feel like you haven't rested because I feel like you've been feeling like there's something, whether you feel like you have to be doing this because I don't know, you guys, I'm just going to be honest. I feel like for some, there's this wound here about like, I feel, how's the best way to describe this? It's almost like somebody may have slapped some kind of label on you. Okay. They were like, this is who you are, whatever that looks like. And I feel like for some of you, you've pulled yourself up by the bootstraps and you're like, listen, you can think whatever you want. I am growing and healing for myself and I'm doing all these things for myself. And I feel like you may have just been going and going and going because you have wanted to create this life for yourself. You've wanted to see your worth as something different than what other people have seen it. I hope that makes sense. And I feel like you now, again, it feels like this period where it's like, how do I say this? It's almost like, dear Leo, you have done so much. Like, it's time to just calm yourself, right? It's time to allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to be held perhaps by family or by those that you would deem family. Allow yourself the replenishment that you deserve from all of this work you've been putting in through this period of rapid development. Can't make this up. You really freaking can't. What is coming to an end? We have memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, technology. Like I said, this period of like rapid growth or, spiritual acceleration where it's been just this constant, over and over and over, one thing after the next, feeling like you can't keep your head above water or feeling like you're just constantly moving in order to do so. I feel like that's what's coming to an end. I mean, again, you really can't make this stuff up. It feels to me like you've made significant progress. Even like my heart is definitely all in the feels for you right now. Like I'm really kind of holding back, getting choked up, because I feel like for some of you, you've been so dedicated and you've really kind of had, let's say, your nose to the ground, or you've been just grinding at this for so long, or it just feels like so long that you're like, you may have been in a position recently where you're like, I really don't know how much more I can take. Like I'm not giving up, but I don't know how much more I have in me. And it feels like this is coming to an end. It feels like there's this period that may be coming where you feel like you are able to replenish yourself, where you're able to rest, where you're able to rejuvenate, where you're able to, just really give yourself an opportunity to just breathe. I don't know why I'm getting this. Maybe you resonate with this, maybe you don't. For some of you, I feel like you may have past lives in Atlantis where you feel where in this lifetime you're trying very hard to atone. Like there's, I feel like for some of you, I don't know why it feels like this, but you could have karmic debt that you are really kind of desperately, to the best of your ability, trying to bring full circle, right? That you're trying to reconcile. Take that only if it resonates with you. Do not make it yours if it isn't. We have here virtue. You acknowledge that your loving spiritual oh my gosh, let me start that again. You acknowledge that your loving spiritual attributes that oh my gosh, why can I not say this? You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. So what is coming to an end? Yeah, I feel like this disbelief in yourself is coming to an end, right? We talked about this at the beginning of the reading, but I feel like this is coming to an end because I feel like for some of you, maybe you felt like like, who am I to? Like, maybe you had imposter syndrome. Maybe you had some karma, some wounding, some things that you're like, I don't deserve to inspire people. I don't deserve to create this, life full of happiness, or I don't know, something like that. But it feels like, this disbelief in yourself is coming to an end. I feel like you may be moving into a space where you acknowledge that you are virtuous, right? You've done enough. There are beautiful things about you that do encourage people to grow. So there's this energy of like, stop being so hard on yourself. For whatever reason, I feel like there's something that you are trying to atone for or reconcile or remedy or something. And again, I don't know that this is necessarily from this life. It very well could be, and I would not be surprised at all if it has something to do with a past life. Whether you believe in that or not, it's completely up to you, but it's there nonetheless. We do have acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. Like I was saying, right? There's this, I feel what's coming to an end is this, acceptance, like, okay, I've done what I can do. I've done enough, let me, I also feel like there's this, we have lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. And I feel like, I feel like this is what you've been doing, but I feel like that rhythm is now going to be changing, right? I feel like it's going to be slowing down. And I feel like there's this acceptance for who you are and what you've done and what you've released and how far you've come. which I feel like this is something that may be a bit like new, right? Because I feel like previously you may have felt like it wasn't enough. Yeah. Come on now. We have trust. You have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice and have faith in your intuition. Like I've been saying since the beginning of your video, Leo. I mean, what's coming to an end? That inability to trust yourself, or that continuous questioning of yourself, right? I feel like, and here's the thing, it's not a bad thing to question. It's very important, as a matter of fact, to be incredibly discerning. Like this is part of our evolution. Um, this is part of us developing our eye and being sovereign beings, is being discerning. So I don't feel like it's a bad thing that you question yourself. I just feel like there are things that you may have, let's say, had a conversation with your soul about, and certain things that you've been exposed to or been shown or had dreams about or whatever it is, and you may have found yourself like in the moment trusting that and embracing it, and then your mind takes over, or your experiences take over, or your wounding or your trauma takes over, and then you're like, oh well, what if that's not true though, right? It kind of feels like a little bit of that faithlessness with the star, or the discouragement with the star. But I feel like this is coming to an end. I feel like, like I was sharing earlier on in your reading, that you are now moving into a space where you're learning how to trust yourself, and it's not the maybe the amount of hesitation or the kind of flip-flopping back and forth between trusting yourself, pardon me, and not trusting yourself is coming to an end, because I feel like you've grown immensely. I feel like you've been on like the freaking spiritual carpool lane where you're just passing people. You're just going. I feel like you've had your head, you've kept your head down. You've kind of kept this tunnel vision. And I feel like through that period, you truly have progressed tremendously. You have truly gained so much. I think probably even more than what you recognize. And I feel like this is coming to an end where, it's like, you now are in a space where things may slow down, where you may feel like, again, you can rest, where you are starting to believe and have faith in yourself, where you are starting to accept yourself for the powerful, courageous, strong, trustworthy being that you are. You do have satisfaction. You let the energy of love guide you to self-approval. Yes, so that so that others no longer define who you are. Yeah, like I was saying, for some of you, like I said, I felt like there was some kind of label that may have been, attached to you at some point. And here's the thing, I don't know if you can hear that, but my voice suddenly just shifted. Now that I'm talking about it, it's coming through stronger. But it got a bit raspy there for a second. And I feel like that's because this label that people placed on you, or this, this programming, this, whatever this thing is you bought and sold, I feel like it hindered your belief in yourself. I feel like it hindered your faith in yourself. I feel like it hindered your ability to express yourself fully, to show up in the world as exactly who you are, because I think there's some part of you that was hiding it, that didn't feel comfortable in it. And all of this work that you've been doing, I feel like now you may find yourself in a position where all of this is coming to an end, because you now see yourself for the loving, beautiful soul that you are, loving, virtuous soul that you are. You now, see that it's not your job to control people, that they're going to do whatever they're going to do. They're going to think whatever they're going to think. They're going to believe whatever they're going to believe. And that's not a reason for you to not trust yourself. That's not a reason for you to not listen to your soul. That's not a reason for you to not have faith in yourself. And I feel like you are opening up to this this very loving, deep relationship between you and your soul, right? Where you are now like, listen, I don't need your approval for anything. And again, this is what I feel like is coming to an end. So If this is coming to an end, what then is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for you, Leo? Priestess. Didn't I say with those twos, I was picking up on that high priestess energy? Can't make this stuff up. It does say, how are you being called to step up and lead? Like I said, I feel like, that leader in you, Leo, is always encouraging you to be better, to do better. Always. It's kind of hard to escape. However, I feel like what is being rebirthed in you is, or I think renewed is probably a good word. Perhaps you resonate with both. But I feel like what is showing up here for you in this area of what is being rebirthed or renewed or is beginning is that belief in yourself, that faith in yourself, that faith in your inner voice, your intuition, divine truth, and a wisdom that is coming through you. And for some of you, I feel like you've feared this within yourself. Maybe because it made you weird or an outcast or whatever the story is. But I feel that this is being renewed within you. That trust. Like I said, this is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I feel like that potential is just massive within you. Interesting. You just had an hour, 1 minute, 11 seconds on the clock. Potential. That one energy is about potential. And I said it was massive. And here it is amplified 4 times with what I just shared. Right? Massive, massive potential. And I feel like, again, I feel like all of the work you've been doing has illuminated you. And honestly, I feel like it has rebirthed you over and over again. You may be someone who may look back over the past. Certainly there are those who may, resonate with a much longer or much shorter time period. Okay. But I feel like there are those of you who may look back over the past 3 to 5 years, and you would say something like, I feel like I've died and been reborn, 100 times. Because I feel like you've been doing that much freaking work. Okay? I feel like you've been putting in that much effort that it could feel as though you have, reached a level and then surpassed it, reached a level, surpassed it, reached a level, surpassed it, and just been going through this constant kind of, awakening, ascension type of energy for years. And I feel like, that in itself has let's say built up within you this immense wisdom, and you've been illuminated to so much truth that I feel like you're just in this position that it's almost like, how could you not trust yourself at this point? Right? I just feel like that trust in yourself and in divine truth and the wisdom that you have gained, the knowledge you've gained is being renewed. And you may feel like you've been reborn several times. We also have the initiation. Yes, 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 yes. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Yes. Again, I feel like you've reached a certain point where you've acquired so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much truth that it's like, I feel like for some of you, you are, how would I say this? This may be a very interesting way to look at this, you guys, and I don't know that everyone would, agree or resonate with this, but it almost feels to me like I don't know, maybe you've been exposed to, like mystery school teachings and mysticism and um, those, so, maybe you've learned about some of those initiations through, you know, incredible individuals like Rudolf Steiner or I don't know, maybe Helena Blavatsky or some kind of teachings. Okay, maybe you've learned about that. So maybe you have, even if just a very, vague understanding of, initiation, the initiation process, or at the least are aware of it. I feel like some of you are actually going through an initiation, not necessarily with a mystery school, let's say, um, but it almost feels like you kind of fell into it. I mean, no, that's probably not entirely true, of course. Certainly, there are certain things working beyond this visible realm that have aligned you in such a way. Your soul may have planned this to some degree, but I feel like you may be like what, some would call like an initiate. Okay, like an initiate of, maybe, I don't know, anthroposophy, esoteric Christianity. I mean, I'm not sure how you would resonate, but it just feels like, for some reason, it just feels like for some of you, the role you have to play in this lifetime is not some, it's much larger than what you may have perceived it to be. We'll just leave it at that. But again, I do feel like some of you are certainly in this process of initiation, and to for some, on some degree, or in some cases, it very well could be that priestess type of energy, that intuitive, oracle, clairvoyant, psychic type of energy is what is being renewed, rebirthed, or is beginning within you. Because again, I feel like you've been on rapid fire. King of Wands. Wasn't I talking about this? Did I say something about this? I don't. Oh, I know what I was. Yeah. So I got very like King of Wands vibes earlier on when I was talking about that leadership type of energy. But yeah, here it is. Being renewed in you. That bold leader type of energy. Right? The one who sees the big picture. The one who just almost, I mean, what is it? I don't want to say, what is the word? I don't want to say easily, but the energy that is able to overcome these obstacles. Because here's the thing, that king energy it's like, I am like the authority here, right? And the King of Wands is this big picture thinker, this leader energy, king of the jungle. Okay, it's Leo energy. So essentially, this is you, Leo, stepping into your power, into authority over your own life, stepping in to being the leader of your life, the leader of your reality, right? This is you taking your power back. I mean, hello. I do have the Lovers here in the reverse. And here's the thing. I feel like this showing up, first of all, I feel like your personal values and your belief systems are changing. Okay. I feel like places where you may have been indecisive or experienced this conflict or imbalance within, is changing, because I feel like you're taking that authority, you're making the choices, right? I really feel like that high priestess energy is like, okay, I'm just going to keep aligning with my truth, with my intuition, with that inner voice, and with those divine callings, or with how I'm being called. Okay. You may have kind of been sitting on the sidelines previously, and I feel like the energy now is like no more. Yeah. With the moon energy, I feel as though, again, you're following your instincts. Following your instincts. And again, this speaks to that intuitive energy I was picking up on. I feel like there's something here where you understand that in order to be an authority over your own life, in order to be the true leader that you know you can be, you can't just sit on the sidelines, right? You can't just be indecisive. Like, you have to make decisions. And I feel like you have started to understand, or what is, being rebirthed or is beginning within you, is when you follow your intuition, when you follow your instincts, that is the path for you, right? That is how things unfold in, let's say, your favor, or in the ways that are for your highest good, for your best good, like however you would like to word that, right? It really feels like it is all about you following your intuition. Yeah, can't make this up. You have third eye activation, brow chakra, inner vision, clear seeing, like I said. Come on. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or beginning within you? Trusting what it is you know and see within you. The truth that is coming through you. Right? Allowing your intuition, your instincts to grow you and lead you. Trusting that you are always on the right path. Oh my gosh. You also have here release. You have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe. Yeah, right? I mean, it's very interesting, because I feel like part of where this indecision was coming from is because I feel like there were these energies, maybe around programming, trauma, whatever it is, that's like, this isn't logical, right? I feel like it was boxing you in. And I feel like this is something that you may be releasing, which is allowing you to further trust your intuition, to take authority over your own life, right? To cross that threshold, it really feels like you are just, whew. I feel like October could be a new chapter for you. That's not to say that you haven't experienced many over the past several years, but I feel like this may feel very different. Oh, I'm not sure if I showed you that. Yeah, I feel like, that intuition being you, I feel like learning how to trust your intuition, or accepting it, surrendering to it, acknowledging it, trusting it. I feel like, again, where you may have been indecisive before, I feel like you just have gained this clarity via your intuition. Um, and I feel like you've seen through a lot of illusions. which I feel like has helped you to release a lot of energy, or yeah, a lot of unwanted energies. So let's take a look here at the wisdom that will best support you, Leo, in your healing, growth, and evolution. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. I love that. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. So here's the thing, Leo, right? I said up here when we were talking about remembering home and soul family that maybe you felt that within you, right? Like Christ, that Christ impulse within you. Maybe you've had developed that connection with your soul self. Um, I feel like the wisdom here. I mean, it's basically just how would I say, affirming for you that you are not on this path on your own. You do have a lot of help. And it's interesting because I shared earlier that you may, be, let's say, what some would call maybe an initiate, in a fashion. And even though you may not be part of some kind of like mystery school, which it's a mystery school for a reason because not many people know about them, okay? So even though you may not be, you know, involved in that in a very, like you go somewhere or whatever kind of sense or have some kind of circle or whatever it is, I feel like there like you kind of have found yourself in it. And that's not to say that you're there by accident, certainly, but I feel like, spirit, which I was picking up on this earlier and I kind of kept it to myself. Now I wish I wouldn't have, but I feel like, spirit could have had a hand in that. I think I did say that there could be arrangements that were being made kind of behind the scenes, right? But it feels like, you haven't been alone. You've had a lot of help, right? And I feel like the more you acknowledge that and accept that and utilize that tool, the more support you're going to have, the less difficult things are going to feel for you. Six of Swords here in the reverse. So anywhere that you may have held on to, some baggage or where you've resisted things, I feel like you've had that help. I feel like you've had that push from, what we might call keepers of the earth or ancestors, maybe angels, guides, your higher self, Christ, right? These impulses, or these guides. I feel like you've had help in places where you may have wanted to resist, and maybe it was really challenging for you to go through these things, but I feel as though you've never done it alone. And especially in times where you've really struggled, I feel like this is, I don't know why, but it almost feels as though this is kind of a confirmation for you to let you know that, when you felt like you were going through something very difficult and you may have felt physically alone, I feel like there's some part of you that never felt truly alone, that you felt like you may have had support from angels or Christ or God or, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like for some of you, this is confirmation. For others of you, I feel like there is energy here or there's a message here and wisdom that's being shared with you here to say that when you experience or face things that you may struggle with, you're not doing that alone, and all you have to do is ask for help. Okay? Interesting. You have here as well, Holy Grail, inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. And certainly, this is something that has come through again and again and again throughout your reading, Leo, right? Is that you have all of this wisdom, all of this knowledge, all of this power within you. And I feel that this is what's going to best support your healing, growth, and evolution, because that is your how Yeah. I mean, it's like the biggest advantage you have in life, in your growth, in your healing, in your evolution is you, right? Tapping into all of these skills and tools and the wisdom that you have, the knowledge that you have, everything that you've learned in this lifetime and others, this is your greatest advantage in anything that you experience on any given day at any given time. It's one of your biggest advantages. And so, I mean, certainly the fact that we have help is a huge advantage as well. But, recognizing this within yourself and again, finding that sacredness is so massive, right? I mean, look at this. So if you look at this card here, all of these trees down here are very little. And the base of the grail looks like the bottom or the trunk of a tree, right? But it's this massive grail. And I think that's what it is. I think, you may have been feeling some kind of way about seeing yourself the way that you have, right? I feel like there's been this, I know there's more for me. Maybe you haven't known what that is, right? Like I think I shared that earlier. And I feel like developing, through the work that you've done, trying to figure out what that means for you, developing this deep reverence for yourself and for what you've done and for your soul. I feel like this, again, it's like this massive potential that has been made available to you because you've found this sacredness within yourself. You've discovered that you have so much more available to you than what you had believed previously. And I feel like continuing to support that, continuing to perpetuate that is going to be a huge asset for you. I mean, to add into the fact that, it says here, you're not doing this alone. I mean, there's a lot of, I feel like you have a lot going for you, right? You have cause and effect. You are aware that the love you create in your thoughts is an agent of change and the foundation of your results. So here's the thing. I feel like the wisdom showing up for you here is that, how do I say this? The reason why I feel like you're in the position that you're in is because of that cause and effect, right? Because of all of the work you've put in, from all the focus, all the study, all the exploration, all of the seeking, right? However it's unfolded and transpired for you. This is why you are now in this place where it may feel like things are slowing down, where it may feel like you are, finally in a position of authority over your own life and have crossed the threshold that you may have been longing to cross for quite some time. I mean, I feel like there's something here about, and I feel like this is confirmation for you because I feel like how would I say, acknowledging this and understanding this at a very deep level, I feel like is going to best support you as you continue to heal, as you continue to grow, as you continue to evolve, because you're going to be saying, I'm the reason why I've gotten to this point. That's not to say you haven't had help, but it could not have been done without you. End of story. And I feel like acknowledging that and fully grasping that and continuing to move forward with that in mind, as you trust yourself, as you accept these paths that are before you, as you trust your intuition, as you no longer seek the approval of other people and you just acknowledge what is true for you and your soul, this is what is going to continue to create and perpetuate your growth, your evolution, your healing. So I feel this is coming through so that you recognize that and continue to do so, right? Because even though maybe things may be slowing down, it's like it's not going to come to a stop. It just may feel very different than it has previously, a bit slower than it has previously, right? Incredible reading for you this month, Leo. I have enjoyed this immensely, and I want to say I'm so very excited for you and how this may unfold for you this month. If there has been something here that has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. So I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I hope that this helps you to navigate your month and that you have gained some much needed confirmation here. I pray that you take what you've learned here today and help, or use it rather, to help you to continue to grow and continue to evolve, to continue to be a leader and a pillar in the collective, fearlessly and bravely facing any obstacle that comes your way for the sake of the bigger picture and for the sake of being warm and loving and protective and charismatic and generous with your big heart and wise soul. Have a beautiful month wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Take care of your intuitive, illuminated, strong, wise, powerful soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.